I think it's very exciting. It's very exciting, but not under... Hello and welcome to the United Stand. The FIFA 20 Manchester United player ratings are out. Some would say maybe they've been leaked, but the reality is they are actually out. And look, whether you like FIFA or not, I always think it's a very interesting time when your players are ranked by this game, because it gives you an indication of where Manchester United are as a football club. And I think these ratings in general, well, look, let's start off with one straight away. I think this is probably one of the more contentious ones, and that's Dan James. 72 rated by FIFA. As you can see, 94 pace, which is fantastic. But last season, as a Swansea player, he was rated at 59. So it shows that, you know, he's had a big increase. I personally think it should be more. I think it should be more, and maybe Daniel James is going to be a victim of FIFA. You know, maybe they've had a lot of things sorted before this last month where he's been brilliant. But I think he should be higher than a 72. I mean, 94 pace is absolutely fantastic, but 72 for Dan James, I think he should be up around sort of 76, to be honest with you. When you think that people like Andreas Pereira are 77, McTominay is 77, I think Daniel James should be a little bit higher than that. But that is an interesting, contentious one to start off with. Obviously, we saw yesterday with the FIFA Top 100 released, we only have two players. Manchester United only have two players in the Top 100. David De Gea, 89, actually dropping down from 91, which again, I think FIFA have got that right. I mean, should De Gea hold on to a 91 rating? No, he shouldn't. He didn't have a great season last year. A drop down to 89 for him. Paul Pogba, the only other Manchester United player in the top 100, he has actually stabilised at 88. He was 88 last year, and he is 88 again this year. Just wanted to mention as well, a few people, let's go on to the next one actually. Anthony Marcial. A few people were thinking, well, Anthony Marcial is going to be a ranking of a 85. There was rumours that he was going to be an 85. Actually, that is not the case with Anthony Marcial, as you should be able to see on the screen now when it comes up for you. There he is. He's actually 83. But I think that's because they've classed him as a left winger. I think there was a leak that he was going to be a striker and an 85. He actually has held on to what he was last year. He was 83 last year. He's 83 again. And I think for United players, if you hold on to what you had last year, you think about it, when we went into last season, we had just finished second and to Manchester City. And, you know, there was probably a bit of a buzz around United players from FIFA because of that. Last season was a poor season for Manchester United. So while some people are moaning that Anthony Martial's an 85, he's not an 85, he's an 83. Has there been a justification for Anthony Martial to go up from 83 a year ago to 85? No. And I'm a massive Anthony Martial fan, but I think 83 is probably about right for Martial. Pace, I would have had him a little bit quicker than that, but dribbling's good. Shooting, I would have had him a bit bigger than that. But I think we're paying the price of Manchester United where they are at the moment. Our other strikers, just to give you an idea of that, Marcus Rashford is actually an 83. You know, some people would not agree with that currently, but that is the case. Jesse Lingard, well, Marcus Rashford's actually had an increase. Maybe actually, let me just go to Rashford for a moment. Rashford was 81 last year. He's gone up to an 83. How much is that based on? Well, what is that based on? I don't see what Rashford's done over the last year that Martial hasn't done, but they're both ranked at an 83. Jesse Lingard, again, like Paul Pogba, holding on to the 82 rating. I think Lingard's a little bit lucky there. I think Lingard is probably a little bit overrated. I personally would have Jesse Lingard as an 80, and I think he should be at an 80. But Jesse Lingard holds on to that. And our other strikers who aren't currently here, Lukaku, obviously on loan at Inter Milan, he retains an 85 rating, and Alexis Sanchez dropping from 84 down to an 82. So, what about some of our newer signings? Well, Harry Maguire was also an 82 last season. He's held on to an 82 rating as well. There is a little bit of a drop off for some people in relation to Victor Lindelof. He's actually moved up. Now, this will be interesting to some United fans. Victor Lindelof was a 77 last year. I can now tell you that Victor Lindelof is an 81, which, you know, is interesting. It is interesting. But Wan-Bissaka has done pretty well. There's conflicting reports on what Wan-Bissaka was last year. I've seen him as low as 70, but I think he was a 76. He's now a 79, which comparable to other right backs in the league? Well, you know, maybe that's not right, but he has only just moved from Crystal Palace to Manchester United. So I think 79 is a steady score for Wan-Bissaka. And I compare that to what Luke Shaw's score was last season and what Lindelof's score last season. Both were a 77. So Wan-Bissaka coming into a poorer United side, but 79, I think, is a good score for Wan-Bissaka. 87 pace is good, as you can see. Defensively, he's scoring at an 80, which is good as well. But I think that's a good, steady score for you know. I'm not pleased with Dan James at 72, as I said. But Wan-Bissaka at 79, I think that's a good score for him. And Maguire holding on to an 82, I think is probably about right. But yeah, with the Wan-Bissaka thing, 79. But last season, Luke Shaw was a 77 and Lindelof was a 77. So I think 79 is about right for Wan-Bissaka. Going through the rest of our defenders selected, we obviously know that De Gea as a goalkeeper has dropped from 91 to 89. Phil Jones has dropped from 80 to 20. No, he's only dropped by one, actually. He's gone from 80 to 79. Luke Shaw and Victor Lindelof, both 77 last year. As I mentioned with Lindelof, he's up to 81. Luke Shaw up to 81. That's going to cause a lot of people a few sleepless nights, I think, that Luke Shaw has gone up to 81. I think that's a good thing. Delo, 72 last season, 75 this year. Eric Bailly, 82 last season, drops to 80. Again, I think that's probably about right. And Marcus Rojo, 80 last year, drops to a 78, which I think is again probably about right. So our best ranked defender this season is 82, Harry Maguire, with Luke Shaw and Victor Lindelof coming in at 81 and 81, and then our right back Wan-Bissaka in at 79. Ranked the same as Phil Jones, but don't let that bother you too much. I think that is a steady score for him. I was going to get Matic up, but I think what I will do is actually we'll go with somebody else first, because I don't even want to get Matic up on a player ratings, to be honest with you. But with regards to Nemanja Matic, he was always ranked quite high on this game. He was ranked at 86, which I think, you know, many people would say is overrated. He's had quite a significant drop. In fact, he's probably the biggest drop for any United player. 86 dropping down to an 81. Which I still think 81 for Matic is a good score. So if you're going to be playing FIFA career modes, you're probably going to get a bit of money for Matic, because I presume you wouldn't play him. But 86 to 81 is a significant drop for Matic. I think that's about right. Juan Mata, 82 rated. Again, I think Mata's done well to retain that. He was 83 last year, 82 now. Fred, 82 last year, 79. A big drop for Fred, that is. But then let's talk about a positive one, and we've got him on the right-hand side there, Scott McTominay. 71 last season, up to a 77, which I think, again, is about right. Not much pace, not much dribbling, but his physicality is a good thing for McTominay. And I certainly think he's a player, if you're going to play career mode again, you can sort of build with him. Pereira's dropped from 78 to 77, and obviously Jesse Lingard we've already spoken about as well. Selected youth players, let's go and have a look at those, because I think the youth players are interesting. Obviously there's a big clamber from Manchester United players to from Manchester United fans to play some of the youth this season. So how does FIFA rank them? Well, interestingly enough, Mason Greenwood was not even a player for Manchester United on FIFA last year. He hasn't even got his picture on. I'm getting all this from FootWiz FootWiz, and there's another one which I can't remember the name of. I'll get it for you now. Foothead. futhead.com or footwiz.com. There's no picture for Mason Greenwood at the moment, but he's coming in at a 67. So no score for him last year. He's coming in at a 67. Pace reasonable. He's a player that you're going to have to work on in training to develop him if you want a career mode. But hopefully Mason Greenwood, Dan James at 72. These are going to be players that, in 6 months we're saying FIFA have got them well underrated. Hopefully. And I think with Dan James they have. So Mason Greenwood's a 67. Tahith Chong was in the game last year at 65. He's still a 65. James Garner, not in the game last year. He's in at a 62. And Gomez was on the game last year at 66. He's gone up to a 68. I'm talking when the game was released last year. I know updates had them in it. So Gomez going up from 66 to 68. And Twansebi, again, I'm not totally convinced by him. Let's see if we can get him up for you as well. What would you think with Twansebi? He was 72 last year. He's had a season at Villa where he was very, very good. So I would have expected a decent increase for Axel Twansebi, to be honest with you. And I can show you now on screen. He's a 73. So I think Twansebi should have been at least 2 more, maybe. I think Twansebi should have been a 76. I do. He's our 3rd choice centre back at United now. He's had a good season at Aston Villa, and I think 72 to 73, not great. So maybe FIFA really showing a little bit of naivety around youth players. The Dan James score for me is way off at 72. I think he should have been a lot higher than that. I would have had him around 77. I think 77 would have been a fair score for Dan James. 72 is too low. And Twansebi, I think I would have had him up at 75, 76 based on the season he'd had last year. But apart from that, again, I would say, De Gea dropping from 91 to 89, I would agree with that. Pogba retaining 88, yeah, I would agree with that. Matic dropping from 86 to 81, I agree with that. Lingard 82, probably a little bit high. McTominay from 71 to 77, that's a big rise, and I think that's about right as well. Wan-Bissaka moving up from a 76 to a 79 as a new signing is good. Maguire retaining 82 is good. Marcial and Rashford at 83, look, maybe you could have a moan about that. A lot of people were expecting an 85 for Marcial, but does he deserve to be an 85 yet? Maybe this is the season where he does move up a little bit more. And Fred dropping as well from 82 to 79. Lindelof and Luke Shaw both moving up from 77 to 81. I think that's quite positives as well. So get in the comments below. Give us your thoughts on the FIFA 2 ratings. My general feeling is they've got it wrong with Dan James. Not happy with that 72, should be a bit higher. I think Twansebi should be a little bit higher as well. McTominay, I quite like that he's gone up to a 77. I agree with all the 80 players, to be honest with you. Marcial, Rashford at 83. Lingard should be a little bit lower. Mata should be a little bit lower. He's not an 82 anymore. The drop of 86 to 81 for Matic is right. We're not this great team anymore. And last season we were a team that had just finished second. So I think they've got it about right. I don't know what you think. Smash a like on the video, everybody. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Get your comments in below. What are your thoughts on the ratings? I think it's an injustice that Dan James is a 72. But I think apart from that, they've probably got it about right. Thanks everyone for watching. Speak to you all soon.